You're watching Newswatch on WOAY.
We have dense fog across the region this morning because we have so much low-level moisture from the 3 to 5 inches of rain that we got from Helene. But unfortunately for the farmers, this rain came way too late. West Virginia is just coming out of a historical drought. We just got 3 to 5 inches of rain, but folks, the damage has already been done. I am joined by Rick Snuffer, who is a cattle farmer here in Raleigh County. Can you tell me why it's too late?
Well, one of the things is that the crops have been lost. Most people lost their second cutting hay, which is usually half the first cutting. So if you got 100 bales first cutting, then you expect another 50 bales second cutting. That's gone. People have been feeding hay. Some people since 1st September, maybe even August. So they have used up the hay that they normally have for the winter. So all that damage is done. And then we had the thing where a lot of the species were just killed. It got so dry, the heat was so bad that the farmers have to reseed in the spring to get their desirable species growing again.
Now most folks are probably thinking, hey, the grass is greening up. I'm starting to mow my grass. Shouldn't this improve for the farmers going forward to the rest of the fall season? But that's not the case.
Well, first thing is fall season is about over. Time you get a killing frost or freeze, we're talking probably within the next 45 to 60 days at least, you'll be in that situation. And a lot of the species have already died out. A lot of the greenery you're seeing is just weeds or quack grass, which the quack grass they'll get a little bit out of, but not much. And it's just on the surface. It's not like this time of year, lots of times I might have 5-6 inches of growth that the cattle will be grazing down. Now there's nothing there, just a little on the ground, a little green paint-like looking.
What's the difference between the drought this year and the drought back in 1988?
Well, I think this one's different. It hit earlier in the season and stayed longer. In 88, we were kind of affected by first cutting hay was short that year. And then we had some rain come on that fall and kind of recovered some. But this one, it's the worst I've seen. And, I'm 69 years old, and it's bad. It was real bad. And people don't take into consideration the heat. A combination, we had a drought in 88 was dry, but it didn't have the heat. This heat, when you have those 100-degree days, it just sucks the moisture out of the ground. Even if you get a little precipitation, it's sucked up the next day. When you get those days in the 90s and you get constant days of that, 4 or 5, even 2 weeks of in the 90s, then those plants kind of go dormant. So even when they do have rain, they're not in a growing process. So there's little effect to it as far as the growth and the harvest for the cattle. You're hoping for some moisture this winter that'll perk into the ground and really get the groundwater back up.
And what's the benefit of having a heavy snowpack on the ground during the winter?
Well, that's what we need. I mean, no one wants a lot of snow if you're out there farming, but you need it. We need it because it melts in slowly. It rejuvenates the groundwater, and whether you know it or people know it or not, there's a little bit of nitrogen in snow. We get a little bit of fertilization effect from snow. Not a lot, but there is some.
And you were at some of the drought meetings in Morgantown, and what information was exchanged? What important information should folks know about the information that was exchanged at those meetings?
Well, everybody needs to know if you're affected by the drought, you need to visit your local USDA offices, Farm Service Agency in particular. There are government benefits that are available for you. It's not going to make you whole, but it will lessen the sting a little bit. The government's going to pay you a small fee of loss for every animal that you had. And help you recoup that money. You can use that money to buy hay or other resources. We also have an emergency conservation program, which help you install some water benefits if you need a shortage of water.
On Drought Patrol in Raleigh County, Chief Meteorologist Chad Merrill for Newswatch. Now the farmers locally aren't the only ones suffering from the drought. Also in western North Carolina, they got hit with historic flooding. Now there is a Google document that is on our website. You can find the link on our homepage for those of you who would like to help the farmers in western North Carolina as they make their way through this catastrophic weather event and the cleanup. Chief Meteorologist Chad Merrill for Newswatch.